And here we are in the part that I consider it the most disgusting among your arguments, calling me a liar. Then why do you? When you say you can present consent from those who will and are violated to make the first part of Quran 424 not sound so evil, well, how are you not lying? Not only that, it breaks the law of respecting your opponent in the parting table. What does that mean? But also shows you're ignorant of the hadith I cited false. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. False. It shows that you are lying when you can't give an explanation of why a hadith many Muslims regard as important, Sunan Abu Dawud 2150, would be considered the translation wrong, and then you don't present where consent is to lessen the evil of it. And then you support Dawud 2150 by posting this stupid saying with, quote, women who followed their father and husbands to the war put on their finest dresses and ornaments previous to an engagement in the hopes of finding favor in the eyes of their captors in case of defeat. Yeah. Do you see how stupid and contradiction here is if they're not going to be violated, you know? And if there's going to be consent, you know? Thanks. Now he's changing the subject. Thanks to Quran 328. How can 328 give me the permission to lie? For my case, there is nothing in it that says lies. Or maybe you got this from Answering Islam website, right? Atheist propaganda strikes again. It simply says not to take you unbelievers as headmasters, as a plural to wali, means state governor. Wali actually doesn't mean state governor, it means guard. What comes to your mind where you are cut off from Allah if you do take me as a friend, but aren't if you, quote, guard against me? What do you think that entails? You know. 16106. I laughed so hard here you shot yourself right in the foot. Like how stop spamming. That's the name of a guy that was doing something. Do all the time this verse. Oh? How so? Well, how so? Unfortunately for you, shows that it's the unbelievers were violent. Where do you get that in Quran 16106? It just says if under compulsion. How much compulsion? How cowardly do you have to be allowed to pull a lie and say you aren't a Muslim? How much? Where do you get, quote, under the threat of death in Quran 16106? And if you do, well, what happened to martyrdom? Unfortunately for you, shows that it's the unbelievers were violent, shoving their beliefs on Muslims. Better that Muslims force theirs on non-Muslims due to Quran 9:1. I put 9:15. I meant 9:1 through 5. But of course, he runs off with it. You know, saying, "Oh, you do." Later on, I didn't mean to say 9:15. I meant to say 9:1 through 5. Of course, he's going to run off of that. Yeah, so I said this. Better that Muslims force theirs on non-Muslims due to Quran 9:1 through 5 and 29. True? Of course, he sees 1:15. Well, he sees Quran 9:15, so he's going to run with it. Oh well. Through unlike the opposite that what people think about Islam. What? It shows how unbelievers used to force Muslims to accept back polytheist beliefs. Where does it say that in the, quote, clear signs handed down that explain things fully in detail with Quran 16106? Where? And again, where is consent for the first part of Quran 424 and how it's reported? Handed down in Dawud 22050, Muslim 83432, 3433. Where? And then he gives the Arabic. And then I say, so? Whosoever disbelieves in Allah after his belief, except for one who is forced to renounce his religion while his heart is secure in faith. What happened to martyrdom? If that's how it is, well, again, what happened to martyrdom? Aren't you, as a Muslim, to not put anything over Allah, which would be shirk? If you can put your life over Allah, how is that not shirk? You know, if you can deny Allah, how is that not shirk? But those who willingly open their hearts to unbelief, upon them is wrath from Allah, and for them is a great punishment. Again, what happened to martyrdom? And again, where does it say under the threat of death? It just says forced. How forced? Surah 16:106. Ibn Kathir comments on this verse. This is an exception in the case of one who utters statements of unbelief and verbally agrees with the idolaters because he is forced to do so by their beatings and the abuse to which he is subjected. You mean like Bilal? I bet Bilal probably shouted out angrily after this scripture was, quote, handed down with, "Now y'all tell me." True? So fear of being beaten and abused is allowed to be greater than Allah, so you can deny Allah and not be like Bilal? Again, why be a martyr? And what do you think of Quran 16:107? That comes right after 16:106, saying this is, quote, "This is because they prefer the worldly life over the hereafter, and that Allah does not guide the disbelieving people." If you deny Allah, if you are denying Allah, aren't you doing what Quran 107 warns about? How is Quran 16:106 not a refutation and contradiction for the need of Quran 16:106 about denying Allah? Shouldn't you welcome death to avoid the warning of the very next verse? Think, O slave of the best deceivers. Think. But his heart refuses to accept what he is saying, while he is in reality at peace with his faith in Allah and his messenger. Right, he's lying about not believing in Allah. He's comfortable knowing that Allah values cowardice and concern for one's life over belief in Allah. And yet the Muslims don't see how this life has become more important over the belief in Allah, flying the face of Quran 16:107. Doesn't see how this isn't shirk even. How come? Source Tasfir Ibn Kathir 16:106. So yeah, quite ironic that this verse shows that it's you unbelievers who force your beliefs on us false. It shows how martyrdom becomes a joke and flies in the face of the very next verse. It shows how your life of comfort is more important than your belief in Allah. That's all. How can it not? How can it not? I was burning my my greens, so I had to go up there and take the thing off the pot. I take the pot off of the stove.